We just went live.
15 minutes?
Sure, come on back.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, we'll be here all night. Well, or until we're not, one of the two.
It shows us on air.
But wait.
The problem is it's not going to be. Okay.
No, it'll just give me a minute. It'll be on Udicci.TV.
All right, I'm going to come back in on you, Chuck. Kill a minute or so, please.
Oh, are we actually, you're going to come back on me? Oh, wait, so I don't know what, I don't even know what we're doing right now. So you think we're live,
We are live.
but you don't know where we're live.
I have no idea where we're
You have no idea if the show actually started, then we pretended that it stopped, and we now are live again. We just don't know. This is what happens when you have like multi-million-dollar broadcasts happening and nobody. Now, okay, maybe it's just the opposite. It's the big lie. There is no real multi-million-dollar thing. So somebody is going to let us know right now if we're actually streaming, because we're being told that we're streaming, but then we're being told over here we're not streaming, and then Tim's shaking his head going, and he's saying, hold on, Phil. He keeps telling me to Phil. He changed my name to Phil. Oh, wait. No, he's now certain. He's now certain this time where he was kind of sure last time, but now we are absolutely certain that we are somewhere. Do we know where we are? Are we all the way back to the beginning of the show?
You are all the way back.
Okay, we're beginning this show all over. Welcome to First Friday at the Hungerford. And if you're watching this from somewhere around the world, you're not at the Hungerford, but you should be. And tonight is Soapbox with Udicci. Soapbox is simply where we bring random Rochester characters, throw them up on the hot seat, cold seat, whatever seat it is, and we just kind of talk. And the fun thing about this is, for the most part, we don't know any of these people. Now, they've got to sign something that says, you know, they're not going to bite us while they're on up here, and we do get to use the footage and, you know, all that other stuff. So we know their names, and 9 times out of 10, I forget their name by the time they actually come up here. But we don't know these people. They don't know me. They have no idea, for the most part, what we're all about. And they don't know that when I'm talking, if I'm serious, if I'm not serious. And it does get a lot of fun. If you've tuned into some of our past episodes, you saw that it is fun. You can have a lot of laughs, and it can get a little bit scary. Tonight, we're going to kick it off with, just by chance, a gentleman who stopped in and really kind of speaks the same language that we do. And we're going to bring Warren up here, but we're going to lead in with some music that Warren made. So pay attention to the lyrics, listen to the song. And for those of you who know Udicci, I mean, the two of you that ever tune in, you know, those two people and that guy over in Germany. I always forget that guy in Germany's name. I forgot. Let's just give him a new name. How about Bob? Bob from Germany. Bob from Germany. I understand, Bob, that you're the cause that Volkswagen did that whole emissions test thing and really tried to cheat everybody. Bob, that was not nice of you. I don't know why you did that. I hope you got paid well to do that, because here's what we know. Are we ready to play this song? Here's what we know. No matter what you do, no matter what you do in the world, as long as you profit wildly, it's all good. It's all good. So let's go ahead and watch this song, and we'll bring up Warren while we're watching. All right, come on up.
paycheck. But I'm afraid there just isn't anymore. I can tell when you're lying. Oh, that's so obvious to me. It's plain as day. Eyes on the web, on the TV. I don't know why or who to believe. Confusion. It's not a stop, trying to take me. Something better's what I need. Come on, break these chains, bind me. I yearn to set my spirit free. My spirit free. A brighter future is what I need. I need it now, and that alone might be enough. A ray of hope shining down on me, embraced in the arms of brotherly love. Vultures flying high all around me, Wolf is always at my door, I'm getting by, I'm living paycheck to paycheck, but I'm afraid there just isn't anymore. I can see that you're lying, it's in your eyes. I'm not the fool you think me to be. I'm not your fool. Every day it's getting clearer, clearer. Oh yeah, just what it is you've been doing to me.
So, all right, we're going to transition back, and we're back. Now, do we have some sound? And we're here with more.
Hey,
We're here. And can we hear? Everybody can hear? We're good? All right, so you wrote that song, you played that song, right? And from my understanding, that was after you made your first million?
First million wrong songs, probably. Yeah.
First million wrong songs. I was speaking in
That
dollars.
one worked
but,
pretty
okay.
well. That one
All right, that one worked pretty well.
That's a keeper.
So, and we talked a little bit offset that you were, that you basically write a lot of political songs, right?
Yeah, it's a good way to get my anger out without choking somebody. So I write the songs, then I can stay calm and lead a normal life.
And this is what I mean, how this can sometimes get dangerous. What do you mean by choking somebody?
Well, you look at all the political stuff and all the nonsense and the shenanigans that goes on in the political theater. And it infuriates me that we don't talk about the real issues. We're talking about emails and crap that doesn't matter.
So, now let me ask you, and you don't have to answer this, do you
Okay.
have a political side?
Yeah, I'm a lefty.
See, and that's my thing. I tend not to have a political side because I think they're both full of crap. I think it's like the political structure wants you to be engaged in their current talking point so that you don't engage in the conversation of somebody else's talking point. Because if we all talked, we'd find that we have far more in common than we have that's different.
Now, wouldn't it be nice if our political leaders would do that? Talk and find out what we have in common. But they don't. And when I look at the right and I look at the left, I'd much rather align myself with the left because the right doesn't seem to give a shit about the poor, it doesn't give a shit about the old people, it doesn't give a shit about the disabled.
And
It's time to do something about it.
And
So I'm
why
not just
should
gonna
we
sit
care?
around
Why
and
should
drink
we
coffee
care?
and stay calm?
Honestly, you know what? They're poor. They're poor. They deserve to be poor. They've put themselves there.
Apparently, that's what Republicans think.
And the old people, I mean, come on, they already lived life. It's not our fault they're old.
But we should take care of them.
We
It's a
should
good
take
measure
care
of our
of them.
society if we really care about people.
No, stop. Stop.
No, I'll
Why do
sing
we
about
wanna-
you if you don't
Why
stop.
do we want to put money into people's hands that aren't going to use it well? Let's make sure that we make people really wealthy.
Well, then let's give the money to the poor people because they can't hang on to a dime.
Exactly.
They will
It'll go
spend
right.
the money, so that's a good way to get it back into the economy.
How inefficient is that to give it to people who can't hang on to it? Well, let's not do that.
Well, that's what we do with corporations.
I know that, but sorry, you just got me off guard.
Gotcha.
A second. All right. So it is interesting, and I actually had this conversation before. The left has done a great job of actually getting the message of compassion out. They really have. I personally do not agree with the fiscal policies. My background is in finance. I do really get into different economic theories. Both parties subscribe to Keynesian economics, which I feel is the complete biggest lie that's ever infiltrated mankind. The idea that we can build entire economies based upon debt and then tell people that debt is bad for them but great for our own economy makes absolutely no sense to me. But that's what we do is we sit there and go, more debt, and through debt we find prosperity. That's the message.
Not me.
Huh?
Not me.
Right. That's the message both parties have been espousing to all of us since basically, the early 1900s.
And I think the problem with that particularly was exacerbated with the Supreme Court decision of Citizens United versus the FEC. So we have unlimited money coming in. Politicians are bought every day. They can't discuss issues. And we see it in the Republican debates. Nobody wants to take on the issues except that what's the guy with the orangutan hair? He can bring it up because he says he's financing his own campaign. The other politicians are basically bought and paid for, and there are things they can't say. Mass shooting in Oregon. Who's going to come out against guns in the Republican Party?
I don't know that guns are the problem.
I think guns kill people, but there's people behind those guns.
It's people behind the guns. And that starts, to me, I start looking at that we have a real issue that we don't value life. We actually, we have sat there and said, it's the almighty dollar and not life. And here in Rochester, through the poverty, we say our thinking is wrong. Every part of our thinking is wrong. But I don't know that to me, it's not whether we have more gun laws or less gun laws. It's how do we help the heart matter.
Oh, I'm all for more gun laws. I'll just come out with that right away. I think that we have far too many guns in this country. There are 300 million guns in this country. We don't need that number of guns in this country. Register them so they can be traced. So if somebody commits a crime with a gun, it can be traced. We have to do something.
What does that actually solve? Does that
It enables people to take a ballistics test and to say this gun came from so and so.
Yeah, but does it stop the crime?
No, it's too late to stop the crime. We have other solutions to that, like getting more of the guns off the streets.
Right. How do we get the gun?
that.
How do we get the guns out of the criminals' hands?
Well, I think first we start with assault weapons. There's no reason for any human being
Okay,
to
what's
have
an assault weapon?
An AK-47, anything with a multiple magazine. Why do we have to have multiple magazines and guns? We don't. You can kill somebody with 2 bullets, you need 17. It makes it a mass
So do
shooting
you want to get rid of a
potential.
revolver that holds 6?
I would get rid of them, yeah. But
So
I don't
you-
think that's
you-
realistic. I would, but I think that
So-
that people have a right to this. They can have guns.
Okay.
As long as they're responsible gun owners and they're not buying weapons of mass destruction, fine.
So okay, so now we have a revolver with 6 guns. So do you want to limit the number of guns that they can have?
That would be a good idea.
All right, so now what we do is we limit the number of guns that the citizens can have. All right, now what happens when the government decides that it no longer wants to follow the law of the land?
And do what?
I don't know. Doesn't matter. It no longer wants to follow the law
The
of the
government will
land.
not follow them? It'll never happen.
It'll never happen.
It'll never happen.
You're right, because the politicians all along have been doing everything properly, and they take every law and they follow it, and you're just saying a song that it's a lie.
They don't follow it.
That's right,
Tell
they
me how
don't
they follow
follow
it.
it.
How do they follow it?
They don't follow it. That's the problem. So what happens once all of the guns are removed from the citizens, right? Once all of the guns are
Including
removed
the
from the citizens,
politicians, right?
except for the fact that the politicians then have the say. So do you want to get rid of them from the police force?
No, they can have guns. Sure.
All right. So now the people who control the police
Should
force.
the police weaponize drones?
Oh, now weaponizing drones.
That's
a
the
whole
next
nother
step
story.
in this argument.
Yeah, no, it is. And honestly, I don't know. I don't necessarily have a strong position one way or the other. I don't have an issue with the idea that there's reasonable some sort of gun legislation. I don't know what reasonable gun legislation is. My bigger thing is that I don't think that solves anything.
At least we're talking about it.
Yeah, I know. And
We've
I
had all these mass shootings now. Have we heard anything from the NRA?
I don't know what they would say. I don't know what
The
they're going to say.
NRA used to be a useful organization. They used to offer gun safety courses and
Right.
teach people how to handle guns.
Right.
Now they're basically a political action committee,
Right. And I
throwing
don't,
money into government. And my attitude is,
and I'm with. I have yet to hear from anybody in any conversation about guns how we take the guns out of the hands of the criminal. That's what I want to know. If you want to take it out of the hands of the citizen, I can talk about that because I don't necessarily have a big attachment to one side or the other. But how are you taking it out of the hands of the citizen?
how would we do it?
Yeah. I'm sorry, out of the criminal, not citizen.
Offer them money.
Offer the criminals money.
They've done that in other cities.
All right.
They've given money for guns to be returned. They've gotten hundreds of guns off the streets. That's something
All right.
that has proven
So what we do
it's
is
a
we
small
start.
percentage.
So we
but
start
something.
offering money to criminals to take the guns off the streets. Now, once we got all the guns off the streets, and then they start coming back in through, say, Mexico or down through Russia or these
South
other
Carolina.
countries, wherever, because other countries, there will always be somebody supplying guns.
And drugs to this country.
And drugs to this country. So on one side, we're going to have somebody buying the guns, thinking it's going to get them off the street, and they're going to turn around and buy the guns that are going to come in illegally, so we didn't get them off the street.
Well, it's a start to get them off the street. Then you have to have some economic solutions to provide some viable
Now
education
we're
and
talking.
alternatives for people.
I think the economic solutions are really where we begin, right? Because I do believe that part of it has to be a change in the way we think and a change in our heart. I mean, again, guns may or may not be problematic. We could argue that, and that's that talking point all day long,
Absolutely,
right?
absolutely.
It's like that's the talking point we want to get behind. It's like, oh, it's this way or that way. But the real issue is not the guns, not the law. It's the heart of the country right now.
the compassion that people have for
Right.
underprivileged people and allowing them to make a living working at a low-paying job. If they get $15 an hour, they may be able to scrape by.
Oh, don't tell me you're going to go into the
$7
whole
an hour. Where are we
$15 an
going?
hour?
Absolutely.
Now, some of the strongest economists in the world will tell you that the minimum wage is the most racist construct that's ever been made in American politics.
I don't believe it.
You don't believe it? How far do you follow economics?
Enough to write songs about it, but I don't accept
All right.
that argument.
So if you
lay it out for me. Go ahead.
seriously, and it's interesting. One of the first things you'll hear about when you go back to some of the unions that were first started in the United States, right? They were actually they began largely around the same time the slaves were freed. There was a fear that some hard-working people were now available to take labor-oriented jobs. So people unionized and got together and said, we have to be paid X, knowing that if you had to be paid X, at least they were educated slightly more than the people who had just been released from slavery. So there was actually now a minimum to be paid, and if you didn't pay that minimum, all of these people who currently had the skill set to do the job would walk off the job. So there was actually a part of the labor unions that said that was to protect the white citizen from the black, newly freed citizen from having a job. And as that moved forward, and we see that time and again, and we
You're
see
saying
it,
that's applied today? Same
you
principle today.
follow the same principle through through a simple idea. If you're a company and you have a job, are you going to pay $15 an hour to the person who's more educated or the person who's less?
More educated.
More educated. Who is the least educated population in our country?
You tell me.
The African American population is the least educated in our country. So when you want to sit there and tell me that you want to pay $15 an hour, you want to demand $15 an hour. If I run a company, which I do, and I could choose between somebody who's at least graduated high school and somebody who is not, and we have ridiculously low graduation rates for the African Americans, who do you think we're going to give the job to?
Well, that points out that we do need to change the way we educate children, particularly in this city.
Right.
We have a one-size-fits-none policy in this city of sit down, shut up, and do what I tell you.
I like that.
And that doesn't work.
I like that.
One size
fits none.
It's absolutely
That is
true.
great.
And I taught in the city for 34 years,
That
so
is
I have
great.
some firsthand experience with that. And
That is great.
they're failing the African American community and have for years.
1 minute? 1 minute. All right, we've got 1 minute, and I'm just I've had a lot of fun with you tonight. But I actually do. I do not believe in the minimum wage. The drug thing we can come back to another time. It's the gun thing.
All right,
I don't.
make it $20 an hour.
Yeah, well, no, because quite frankly, here's the thing. We're going to take a little bit longer on this. Here's my thing.
Go ahead.
Part of the Citizen 585 movement that we're doing, I actually believe in what we call asset-based community development. One of the issues we have in our communities is if I had the opportunity to go in and say purchase a home in the in the Joseph Avenue area and rehab that home, I either according to what we were just talking about, I'd have to pay somebody $15 an hour who has no skills. What if instead we had co-ops where we could go in and buy that home and I could bring a kid in who has no skills and I teach that kid. I don't have to pay that kid. I have to teach that kid. Maybe at the end of the week I'm giving him a tool belt because now he knows how to hang some drywall. And what we're doing is we're doing each of these projects, they're actually profit sharing. And when you profit share based on the result of the project that you did, and you actually become an owner in the co-op, and you actually own shares in your individual neighborhood. Now, if you strap me down and say I have to pay $15 an hour to that person, I can't do that. But I could teach somebody a trade, I could teach them to profit, and I could teach them entrepreneurship.
If we had schools like Edison Tech actually teaching the skills to children, you could get them out of the school with the skills and pay them $15 upon graduation. You wouldn't have to worry about hiring people with no skills because we'd be producing people with the skills there. So there's a lot of work that needs to be done.
And do you think a $15 an hour wage is going to hurt? Do you think it's going to hurt Rochester more than New York City?
I have no way of knowing.
We have less money. We have less money available to pay the employees in New York City, in Rochester, than we do in New York City. So we'd actually have less jobs available.
And what's the poverty level in Rochester? I think in Rochester schools it was like 80% of the students fell below the poverty line.
Right.
So we have a massive poverty problem.
Right, but the idea that we just simply don't have the amount of money the wealthier cities can afford. I mean, you hear about the Seattles of the world. They're doing really well. They've got high-end tech jobs over there. They've got the people and the capacity that they're making this money, and then that money does flow down to the small business who supports them and who then creates the jobs. And $15 an hour may be really realistic. But here in Rochester, there are people who are willing to work, who are willing and able to work, but we cannot put them to work because we have a minimum wage and a number of other regulations that go behind that. But we do have to change out. I want to give you the final word.
Enjoyed being here tonight. It's always good to have open conversation. Rational discourse is important. One of the reasons I write these songs is to try to get people to talk about things, because if we're not talking about them and not acknowledging that problems exist, nothing will happen.
And again, my point is, you'll never know where I stand. It's my job.
All right.
All right, sir. Thanks a lot for coming on tonight.
Sure, pleasure.
And we will be going out from here. I guess we're going to do what, like a quick flip over? Yep. Do we have Cat Lady back?
No, we got another one.
We got. Are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
All right, good. Well, she says she's ready. Take it away.
Oh, you're ready.
All right, so welcome. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
And you're out. Is this your first Friday?
It is, yeah.
Your first
My
Friday?
first, yeah.
Are you from Rochester?
Yeah.
So how did you hear about First Fridays at the Hunger Fair?
My parents have a space here.
And then, wait.
I don't live here usually.
Oh, where do you live?
Well, now I live here, but I've been living in Vermont.
Oh, what a beautiful state.
Sure is.
It is a wonderful
Yeah.
state. So what were you doing in Vermont?
I was hanging out, going to school, working with kids, working at a restaurant.
It is a beautiful state to hang out, work with kids, work at a restaurant, and whatever you're doing.
It's
All
very
right.
great.
So your parents have a studio here.
Yeah.
How long have they been in Hungerford?
I think some years, like 10,
10 years?
13 maybe.
Have you not been back in 10 years?
No, I just never been to a First Friday.
You just never came and saw your parents?
No, I just never been to a First Friday.
I hear you. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
All right. So this is your first Friday. What do you think so far?
I think it's great. This is my second space that I've walked into.
Oh, well, congratulations for walking
Yeah.
into the one where it suddenly just throws you online for all the world to see. And Bob,
perfect.
Bob is watching. So you're actually out tonight.
Who's Bob?
It's a guy we make up.
Oh, okay.
We just talk about Bob as if he exists.
Gotcha.
But I would recommend looking Bob up. He's a nice guy.
okay,
yeah,
I
yeah.
know some Bobs. Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah.
Well, it's this Bob. There's one specific Bob. He spells
Okay.
his name B-O-B.
Yeah,
it's really
yeah.
interesting because he wanted to make sure that you could spell it both forward and backward. It's really kind of interesting thing there. All right, so you're what are you're out tonight talking
Okay,
about?
so I'm trying to get artists to donate pieces of their works to be a part of a silent auction or a raffle, either one depending on what the thing is.
Okay.
All proceeds will go to the St. Joseph's House of Hospitality
Okay.
on South Ave.
So it's St. Joseph is holding a
We're
gala
having,
or
we're having a fundraiser.
okay, just a fundraiser. And
Yeah,
and
there's-
how will people get in to start bidding on the pieces?
All they need to do is walk in.
Okay,
free.
it's gonna be over at the St. Joseph's Villa.
It's either going to be at St. Joe's, which is 402 South Ave,
All right.
or we're trying to have it at Star Alley, which is like the green nice space to the left of Lux.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yep. All right.
So it's either going to be one of those two places,
And when are you thinking of having this event?
October 24th from 3 to 7.
So it's coming up shortly, and people are
Coming
going to
up
come in and
soon.
be able to see all the different pieces of art.
Yep.
And they'll be able to kind of do silent auction on each individual, and they'll drop in a little slip or something saying, "I'll pay $1."
Yeah,
Somebody
it'll
else say, "I'll
look
pay
like
2."
the piece will be there, and then there'll be a piece of paper with like a starting bid,
Okay.
and then people can go around and bid up, bid up, bid up.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. So how long have you been working on raising or getting people to donate?
Probably for a couple weeks.
And how's it going?
Pretty good.
Is it?
Yeah, people have been really, really nice.
And all
And
sorts of
generous.
different art, right? Probably it's not going to be just stuff that hangs on the wall, which is, by the way, the king of diamonds from Blue Toucan Studios next door. A little promo. But yeah, so all different kinds of art, sculptures, and
Yeah,
everything.
anything flies.
Anything that flies.
Anything that flies, like
So, like, weaponized
chickens,
drones?
hens, drones. Those
I've got to see
helicopters.
drones. Okay,
Yeah.
so drones that have, like what, cannons on the front? Are they lasers?
They're the ones with the lasers and the cannons and the cameras that go really close. They can see everything.
And it's like laser printing, right? Then it just kind of makes on the canvas some cool art that you buy.
Yeah,
That's cool. Show
Yeah.
up to that, because that's going to be really worthwhile seeing that. So what would you like people to know? First, we got to tell them, come on out on
October 24th.
October 24th. Come on out to...
To-
Well, wait, how do they know where to go? You don't know yet.
Well, I'm sorry, I don't know yet. We're waiting
So
for
do
the
they have a
city's
Facebook
permit.
page?
You can get in touch with me. My name is Emily DeBola
Okay.
on Facebook.
Emily, on Facebook. Do you
Yep.
spell the last name?
DePola, DIPAOLA.
Okay. And on Facebook, they can get a hold of you.
Yeah.
What about at St. Joseph Villa website? I'm sorry, not St.
Yeah,
Joseph.
they can call St. Joseph's House
Okay.
of Hospitality.
St. Joseph's House of Hospitality. You can call them, find out more info.
They can call me.
They can call you.
585
Okay, start over. All right.
585-727-7795.
And you're okay with putting that out to the world?
It's already been done.
It's already been done. We can't pull it back, right?
Yeah.
All right.
This is my poster.
Bob, actually, you got your poster. So, do you have a, do you have this in a JPEG or a PNG format? Because then we
No.
could have, no? Okay, so here, let's
I don't know what to do about that. Yeah.
What's that?
It's kind of small.
Stick figures are kind of cool. Where are we? We're right here, right? Okay, let's get this in there. A call to all artists. Please consider donating a piece to be part of the silent auction to raise money for the soup kitchen and homeless shelter. St. Joseph's House of Hospitality on South Ave. There is your email. There is your phone number. That's everything you need to know,
That's
right?
perfect. Thank you so much.
So anything else that you would like to say or talk about as far as this goes?
St. Joseph's is really awesome. Such a nice community of people. Getting fed
Do you work with St. Joseph?
daily. I'm just a volunteer.
Beautiful. Do you know Angie over there? Angie Perez?
I don't know Angie. Mm-mm.
Okay, all right, yeah, because we do
Yeah.
some work with St. Joseph. It is a great organization in town.
Yeah.
They really are one of the organizations, and that came out completely wrong. There are many great organizations out there, but they really are one that are focused on the results. They're focused on the results of creating that whole child again, that whole person again.
Yeah.
Really caring for that person. They do some great work. They've been around Rochester now for,
75 years.
I was going to say, yeah, it's 75 years.
Yeah.
And they used to be, now, let's see, they used to be, what was the name before St. Joseph's Villa? Oh, actually,
Well,
it's
do you
Villa
know
Pope.
what? We don't want to get confused because there's a few St. Joseph's around
okay.
town. So this is St. Joseph's Soup Kitchen Homeless Shelter.
Are they not all
Villa.
related? It's
No
not
Villa. No Villa.
Okay, not the Villa.
Yeah.
Okay, the Villa does great work, but so do they. It's
Yeah.
the same St. Joseph's. St. Joseph was, what do you know about St. Joseph?
I don't know much about that man.
Do you know? So you do know that like there has to be proclaimed a saint. That he had to do a certain number of things, and the Pope had to say that he was right.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
All right. So Saint Joseph, what he really did, he actually used to make pizza out of rock, and it was
Really?
really good. No, not at all.
Oh, okay.
Not at all. Not at all. I'm just making that up because I have no idea about Saint
Could've
Joseph
happened.
either. It could have happened.
I don't know.
It
Who
might have
knows?
happened.
But yeah. Thank you so much.
All right, Emily. Thank you for coming on. I hope you had fun. You got the shout out. Anything else you'd like to say?
No.
All right. All right. Well, thank you for
so
coming
much.
on. Yep. All right. And now, are we got another one? We've got somebody else. We'll go to a quick break for a moment, and then we'll be right back. I think that we have. Do we have somebody else, Tim?
Not that I'm aware of yet.
Not that you're aware of. So, in the meanwhile, enjoy some music or something, and I'm gonna take a
Hey, 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 hey. Hey, 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 row, row, row your boat gently down the stream.
Turn this one off. Better.
I'm waking up alone again. I knew that you'd be gone. I'm sleeping in my clothes again, 'cause no one tells me wrong. When will you be back, my love? Well, I guess you're just my friend. I keep thinking I should leave, or at
this'll never end. And sounds good to you. It sounds good to me. Cool. When do you want to? Whenever. Oh, so we can just go?
You can do whatever you want to do.
Oh, all right.
You said turn on the use, we're good.
Oh, I didn't know if we're going right now or not.
Yeah, we're good.
Okay, cool. I'm waking up alone again. I knew that you'd be gone. I'm sleeping in my clothes again, 'cause no one tells me wrong. When will you be back, my love? Well, I guess you're just my friend. I keep thinking I should leave, but this'll never end. The sun ascends, you're in your bed, but I'm awake and watching you. I wish I'd seen that dull terrain that seems to push you through, but I can't sleep at night, and the drinking suits me right. So let's go out to the American Hotel. Let's go out to the American Hotel. I left you off a week ago with a bouquet of pride, but when I stepped back in again, you know, I found they died. So I drink at home all winter long, 'cause the bars are just too far. But summer's almost here again, and I know just where you are. The sun ascends, you're in your bed, but I'm awake and watching you. I wish I'd seen that dull terrain seems to push you through. The doctor said it was in your head. Oh honey, but that won't comfort you. Feel that I can't sleep at night, and the drinking suits me right. So let's go out to the American Hotel. Let's go out to the American Hotel. Let's go out to the American Hotel. Yeah, let's go out to the American Hotel.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Hi.
How are you? Thanks for coming and doing this.
Can I drink this on here?
Why not?
Okay.
I don't know.
Hi.
I think I'm
How you doing?
great to see you.
Almost
I
didn't
gotta
make
pull
it.
up my questions for you. Oh no.
Road
Get
got
lost?
washed out.
Oh yeah, it's terrible out here.
So our guest this week, you know how we usually have a guest going on and, you know, telling what they do for with their lives. I mean, we got the boxing, we got the MMA, we got people that do things in the community or whatever. Yeah, we got a whole bunch of people. The show's been amazing and both inspiring at the same time. This week, not only is my co-host here with me to support me on the show, but he's also here to tell you a little something that happened with his life. Want to start off with the date, how long ago that was, and then take us through the, how should I say, through the moments there. And tell us also how that changed your life.
The date was May 19, 2004. Going already past 10 years now. Me, my wife, and my brother-in-law were all the victim of a robbery. And
Outside.
yeah.
Not in the house, just hanging out outside.
Hanging out outside, minding.
I heard this story, let me tell you, when you told me, by the way, I felt like I was there with you. I just couldn't take it no more. It was just too much. It was deep. But continue.
Well, I was waiting for a friend of mine's mother to drop off a movie to us. So it was a beautiful day in May, nice spring day. We're talking probably 80-degree weather. Buffing, waxing the car, minding my own business. Finished the car, and I'm just sitting on the hood of the car, conversating. And we happen to glance down the street, and lo and behold, there's a guy pointing a rifle at us. So I looked at my brother like, this can't be real.
Yeah.
And he tells us, get behind the car. We end up behind the car,
So
on the side of a building, on the side of our house. It was real hard for anyone,
It was
even
dark in
driving
there.
by,
Yeah,
to
it was
see.
dark in there.
Yeah, it's about 9 o'clock at night. So, minding our own business, dude comes around with a rifle out of all things. Not a pistol, not something small. We're talking like deer hunter.
Wow.
And yeah, we ended up, they actually had 2 more guys.
Here we go. We're going to go back to that later. Tim said to let you know that. All right, we are sitting here with Lisa, and she just came in from
Where's
outside.
Lisa?
Lisa?
My name's Tina.
No,
Where's Lisa?
you're Lisa.
Okay.
So, what's it like living your entire life as a Lisa?
Well, I'd really like to share that experience with you, but it's kind of difficult because
That's okay.
I really don't know. My name's not Lisa, it's Tina.
So, basically, what you're saying right now is that sheet that you just signed.
It says Tina.
What's that?
It says Tina.
I know it does, but
But
you're
you want me
supposed
to
to
be
follow
Lisa?
the rule.
Okay.
I just can't, like, this is it. I
All right.
told you it was going to. All right, so you're Tina. So,
Yep.
tell us a little bit about yourself, Tina.
Well, I'm here tonight with some friends, and we just sort of wandered over here aimlessly.
Aimless wandering is a fun thing to do. Is this your first
Aimlessly
time to
wandering.
First Friday?
It's not my first experience here,
Okay.
but I like to bring friends who haven't had this experience.
And so is this is your first time to First Friday? No. Okay. So you've got friends. So
Her name's Lisa.
your name's Lisa. Well, thank you, Lisa. Is the water warm enough? Yes, Tina. Anyways, we're gonna go back. So Tina, what do you do for what is your? Okay. Are you like the Lady Justice? Speak no evil. Get hung by the scarf. What do you do? What do you do? Tell us about you.
Let's see. I ride a motorcycle.
You ride a motorcycle.
Yeah. I used to play roller derby.
Now that's cool. With the Rock City.
Rock City roller derby.
So how come? What's used to? Is it just? I know they're still going, right?
Yep, they're
okay.
still going. I actually am a retired skater,
Okay.
but I played with them for 3 years.
That is one of those sports that not a lot of people in Rochester even know is going on. But you
This
guys
is
have been
true.
here for ages.
Yeah, and I don't understand. What? I mean, should we take our tops off? What's going to make people realize that we're here and it's a sport? And
So so Clay, right, that does all of your photography or the video production for the ladies out there. I don't know
Okay.
if you're still Clay.
No,
Clay Odell.
no.
You don't know Clay?
I've been gone for a few years.
Oh, you've been gone for a few years.
Yes.
All right, so he's been trying to really get that going. I know that he's actually now filmed a number of the matches, and he's trying to get that out there. And we've talked a few times, it's a cool thing.
Yes.
It is really a cool thing.
Yes.
And actually somebody else was here. Anyways, how did you stumble into roller derby?
Well, it wasn't quite a stumble. It was more a premeditated leap.
You made the decision to go out on a hard surface and get knocked around?
Yes. When I was 18 and used to watch roller derby on TV, when it used to be on TV, when there were only 3 channels on TV.
Okay.
We're talking late 70s, early 80s.
Okay, all right.
I was still in high school, and I had made a formal announcement that someday I was going to play roller derby. but there was no roller derby in Rochester.
Okay.
So instead, I went to college.
Oh, what a bummer.
Had a
Like
career.
College. Career?
And then once I was in my mid-40s, roller derby came to Rochester, and that's when I joined,
That had to be fun.
because there it was.
So how long were you, and it's the Rock City?
Rock City roller derby.
Rock City?
Yes.
But what are they, what are the girls, what's the name? There's like a team.
Actually, there's 3 home teams. There's
Okay.
the 585s
Okay.
for 585
Right,
area
okay.
code. There's the Midtown Maulers.
I think that's, I didn't realize there were 3 teams.
Yep.
So the Rock City Roller Derby is the league, kind of in
Yes.
town. Okay, I didn't
That's
realize
the
there were
league.
3 teams.
Yep,
Okay.
that's the league. And
All
then
right.
there's 3 home teams. So there's the Midtown Maulers, the Midtown Maulers, 585s, and the team that I played on that for some reason the name escapes me.
Okay. So you had a career. What was your career?
I worked in loss prevention.
Loss prevention.
Yes.
Why would you want to prevent loss?
Well, because it's fun to watch people steal and then have to chase after them and jump on
So you
them,
actually kind of let them
handcuff
steal
them.
first and then
Yes.
and then went
I
after
would
them.
let them do that.
Like you and did you make it easier? You're like, here, free, take it, but then you hit
Well,
that
no,
free
no,
thing?
no. It wasn't like I was taking price tags off of gold chains and sticking them in the fitting room and waiting for them to take them.
Oh, you should have. You should have filmed
But
the
that
whole
would have
thing.
been a good idea.
Yeah,
huh?
you should have filmed
Yes.
the whole thing. It would
I
have
know.
gone
Yes.
viral really quick.
Yes.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
I don't mean to be like
Yeah.
distracted here, but I'm really admiring this microphone design.
Are you?
Yes.
Yeah, it's just boundary mic. What we're trying to see the problem that you notice that with the
I
problem,
notice
right?
every time I
yeah, I
get
know
my
that's
hand
one
on
of the
here,
things.
there's a boom.
So we actually have the suspended mics and we have the different mics that we use on occasion, but the sound just isn't what we want during this first Friday because it gets so noisy.
Okay.
So we're trying something new tonight.
So when we're talking, are we using this microphone or that
No,
microphone?
that's the only thing we're relying on right now.
Okay.
And
And,
it's,
there's a reason for everything.
yes.
So I want to know the reason behind this orange circular placemat for your platform for this microphone.
Well, actually, there's a reason for everything, and to ask that, what? What? It's orange. What?
Yeah.
No. There's
Who
much.
chose this?
So
Who chose this?
well, okay. Somewhere in here, I
He's
gotta
doing
give.
magic tricks now.
I've got to give like the easy answer here. Somewhere here, our
I want to
our
know who's
logo.
responsible for this.
Our. Oh no! She asked the reason. She asked the reason for it.
It all makes sense now. It's coming together.
All right.
Yes.
So the actual dot in our we have this round dot, which is our primary. Now the logo's since changed since on this, but it's that round dot is actually the point of that is to make a point. In our software, we actually define everything by the period so that we can have record-based access to data. Now, what I just did is completely introduced a whole new side of our business that has nothing to do with what we're doing tonight.
And it was
But-
almost like you were speaking another language. to
And
me.
that's what so that's what that is. We have this orange dot, which is kind of our primary element of our brand design. So when we were opening this space, I was walking into some place, and they had these that they were like in the clearance rack, and I was like, an orange dot. So there it is. There's always a reason. As you
But
said, there's a reason
What
for
were the
everything.
chances that on that day, you were at that location, in that store, in that aisle, in
Yeah,
that section
right.
of the aisle, and there was your orange
I
dot
actually
placemat?
thought about that, and I figured it out. It was 9.87 to 1. And it was interesting when you think, and it was like to really kind of consider the different variables that went into it. I was like, I thought it was going to be a lot higher than that personally. And I was a little bit disappointed to find out it was only 9.87. So it's interesting. It sounds like more difficult, right? It sounds like, and I have no idea. I just made that number
It's
up.
like a numeric equation.
Yeah, it is. And we're just making. But yes, your exact point is to, But again, we're so. Are you still in loss prevention?
No, I work with children now.
What do you do with
I
them?
have to be nice at my job now.
Oh, you don't get to beat them?
No,
Okay.
I try not to.
What kind of work do you do?
I work with foster kids.
Wonderful. All right. So now we'll have a little bit more serious conversation. Is that with the city, one of the local charitable organizations, your own thing?
Actually, it's with Medical Motors.
Okay.
So I transport babies and toddlers that are in foster care, and I take them to their visitations with their birth parents.
That's wonderful.
Yes.
So your job, okay. the Rock City Roller Derby, that's gotta be fun. And that was one of those things you said you were gonna do, so you did it.
Yep.
And we really should applaud you for saying, you said it, you did it, and that's important. I mean, huge. Loss prevention, a necessary part of what we do in life. But what you're doing now must be so much more fulfilling.
Well, yeah.
You're
it's-
actually helping families to stay connected.
Yes, exactly.
And that's wonderful. So
Yep.
how did you make that transition?
It was an accident, actually.
It was a beautiful accident.
It was a beautiful accident, but it was an accident. I've been doing it for a little over 3 years, and I love my job, even though I don't make a lot of money. It's not about the money.
It can't be.
Yeah. But I like working with people, and I love kids, and,
So it's medical motors.
yep, of Monroe
And
County.
you primarily, just with children, any age?
Babies.
Just babies.
Like infants,
Oh, okay,
toddlers.
okay.
Yeah. But Medical Motors has been around in the Rochester area for many, many, many years. We work with a lot of different agencies in Rochester and Monroe County.
That's fantastic.
Yes.
And actually, I guess we should probably, so a big part of the work we do here, not on First Friday. First Friday, we're just having a little fun with the community. But we're actually all about economic development and trying to connect people to resources.
Okay.
And we actually just started a new initiative called Citizen 585, where we wrote a piece of software that is actually where we want to, different organizations that have opportunity to help, right, to be able to connect those. Because even though Medical Motors has been here forever, and I'm sure that a lot of people are aware of it, there are many who are probably completely unaware that it exists and have need for it.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of people that need for it. It's a nonprofit organization. So we work with elderly people, people that have maybe financial limitations and can't get to their medical appointments, people with physical disabilities, and foster care.
And how do people find out about Medical Motors?
That's a great question.
Okay.
I would imagine that whatever agency they're working with or through connects us somehow.
So that would be a transportation.
Yes.
And that's
It's
exactly
transportation.
one of the things we're finding right now, as we're starting to really work in the economic development world, is that transportation is one of those key services that we're actually somewhat lacking in Rochester. And it's not that because people aren't trying. In many instances, it's because people are completely unaware of it. And then we find different charities that are out there that are doing this good work, and they could get increased funding if they had increased usage.
I would imagine, yeah.
And that's exactly what it is we're trying to do, is help connect people to those resources that are available.
So what are the chances that I just happen to come here tonight, walk by your room, talk to you, end up here, and it's a part of what you're doing?
9.8, 3 to 1. So actually, if you're okay with it, I think I'm going to email you and follow up and see if I can, meet with somebody over there and, and engage them in this initiative. And it is something we're trying to pull together with, pretty much everybody in the city. And it's more of a citizen-based initiative.
Okay.
But just because we see this huge need of people like yourself who are out there caring, you take a job, as you said, making less than you've made in the past, right? Or making less than you could. Let's say it that way. But it's good for your heart.
Yes,
It's good for the community,
definitely.
and we need to do that.
Yes.
So I appreciate your time tonight, Lisa, and that really threw you for a minute, right?
Yeah,
Well,
it did.
yeah. But I told you earlier, you got to be careful because, you don't have no idea
It's
where we're
all right.
gonna go. A couple of weeks ago, we had some different people here, and I just would not get off the wrong day or the wrong. They're like, no, that's not what we're talking about. But it's actually kind of fun. So we thank you. I did. So what
Well,
you did?
thank
Did you
you.
have a little fun? A little
Yes.
bit different?
Yes.
Something different to do, and this is what we
Yes.
do on First Friday.
Yes.
So I appreciate you coming on.
All right, thank
All right,
you. It was
thank
nice
you.
meeting you.
Nice to meet you too.
Thank you.
All right, Tina. All right, yeah, we'll go back to the.
No.
You're on camera.
So our guest this week, you know how we usually have a guest going on and, you know, telling what they do with their lives. I mean, we got the boxing, we got the MMA, we got people that do things in the community or whatever. Yeah, we got a whole bunch of people. The show's been amazing and both inspiring at the same time. This week, not only is my co-host here with me to support me on this show, but he's also here to tell you a little something that happened with his life. Want to start off with the date, how long ago that was, and then take us through the, how should I say, through the moments there, and tell us also how that changed your life.
The date was May 19, 2004. Going already past 10 years now. Me, my wife, and my brother-in-law were all the victim of a robbery. And
outside?
Yeah.
Not in the house, just hanging out outside.
Hanging out outside, minding.
I heard this story. Let me tell you, when you told me, by the way, I felt like I was there with you. I just couldn't take it no more. It was just too much. It was deep. But continue.
Well, I was waiting for a friend of mine's mother to drop off a movie to us. So it was a beautiful day in May. Nice spring day. We're talking probably 80-degree weather. Buffing, waxing the car, minding my own business. Finished the car, and I'm just sitting on the hood of the car, conversating. And we happen to glance down the street, and lo and behold, there's a guy pointing a rifle at us. So I looked at my brother like, this can't be real.
Yeah.
And he tells us, get behind the car. We end up behind the car, on the side of a building, on the side of our house. It was real hard for anyone.
It was dark in there. Yeah, it was dark in there.
Yeah, it's about 9 o'clock at night. So, minding our own business, dude comes around with a rifle out of all things. Not a pistol, not something small. We're talking like deer hunter.
Wow.
And yeah, we ended up, they actually had two more guys behind the house, jumped the backyard fence.
Now, I know the story, so I want to make sure you don't miss any important parts. During that time, I believe you told me your wife was sitting in the car.
Yep.
She was sitting in the car, and you guys were sitting on the trunk of the car.
The car's facing the street.
Okay, you were sitting on the hood.
Driveway.
You were sitting on the hood, hanging out, like whatever.
Yep. My brother-in-law standing in front of me. We're just conversating back and forth. My wife is in the car, talking on the phone with a friend of hers, and that's when the guy came around. He pointed the gun at us, told us both to get behind the car. So if I'm sitting in front of the car, and I go on one side, my brother-in-law goes down the other side, she's in the car. We get to the back of the car, and now he points the gun at her.
Like when he points the gun at her, how?
He points the gun at her in the car.
Right in her face?
Yep. And then takes the gun out and is forcing her
to get out the car.
No, to take off of her jewelry that she had on.
Okay.
So, mind you, I'm thinking looking at my brother-in-law like, man, we got a chance at taking this guy.
Yeah.
But like I said, he had two more guys that jumped backyard fence, and both of those guys came locked and loaded.
So this was all pretty much, it was all predetermined. They were, I mean, do you think you guys are, singled out, or it was just a random thing?
What I came to gather was that a car drove by slowly and noticed us there, and then basically went around the block.
And jumped the fence?
Yep, parked the car. Now the driver gets out and goes around to the front and engages with us to begin with.
Okay.
While the other two are in the back
waiting for the moment.
Waiting for the moment. So then once the first guy engages us, these two jump the backyard fence and come with us from the backside. So there's no way of
retaliation. Now, just when you thought you had it, a chance to get them,
exactly.
When you seen the other two,
exactly,
your odds just went down.
Odds went down. At that point, you got to give up.
So continue.
So from there, those two guys force us face down on the ground behind the car. So now if you kind of picture the scenario, you're behind a car on the side of a building on the side of my house. There's no way for public view to
dark.
See you. Exactly. Mm-hmm. So they have us face down on the ground, facing that way, while the first guy proceeds to take all her stuff off, literally just ripping it off of her. He grabs the phone from her hand and throws it on the floor. So someone's actually listening to the conversation going on. So they took it upon themselves to hang up that phone call,
You call
the
911.
police.
Okay.
The person who was doing the phone calling for us actually was questioned as to why. Where do they know this information? How do they possibly know what's
Instead of
going
just
on?
saying, you know what?
Instead of saying, yeah, send them down.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know? Stop wasting the time that you got going on
Okay.
now and just send them down. So, after that, that's when that guy basically leaves her and takes off back the way that he came. So these two guys got us hostage. She manages to get out the car and get into the house. These two guys have us on the ground, face down. One of them ended up starting to kick my brother-in-law in the face with boots. So I'm thinking to myself, I'm next. You know, and probably like 30 seconds after that happens, he stops. And I'm thinking I'm the one that's getting kicked next. That didn't happen. What ended up happening was the guy reached down and grabbed my gold chain and just ripped it off my neck. So I'm thinking, hey, you got it. It's gone. And I'm thinking, no kicking? Is something gonna happen? Next thing I know, all I hear is the chamber getting cocked. When I glance up, now, like I tell you, this thing is a rifle. We're talking pretty long.
Yeah.
So from a standing position and someone's laying down, this thing is reaching my head. So barrel's pointed at my head. I hear the chamber cock and I look up like, you've got to be kidding me. What did I do to deserve this? And as soon as he cocked that thing back, finger went right on the trigger. Chambers on the head. I'm not going out that way. So I ended up swinging my arm, which caused the burn stippling on my wrist that fired off into my back instead of my head. So clean shot, I would have been gone. Clean shot.
With a rifle, absolutely.
With a rifle at point blank range,
That'd have been closed casket right there.
done. It ended up going into my back. The guy that was with him ended up taking his gun off of my brother-in-law, and between the two, they fired 7 shots at me. 7. I was left for dead there. Actually, once they fired the shots, they started to run off. One of them stopped, kind of realized that they never took a shot at my brother-in-law. So one of them turned back around, fired off one single round into my brother's back, and took off running. They hopped the same fence that they came through, and I was leaking completely. I could just feel it like warm liquid going down my body.
Your wife?
My wife at this point was inside the house. She didn't know what was going on.
But she heard the shots.
She heard the shots. The side door where we were actually at was kind of cracked. Luckily, they didn't decide to go in. They took off. My brother-in-law still holding his face from being kicked. Plus, he's got a shot in his back. I'm leaking everywhere. I got up.
You're still conscious.
I'm still conscious.
ahead
my
and go.
purse down.
All right, so you guys just take it from here.
Okay. What do we, wait, what?
So hey,
You're
we're
live.
from AmeriCorps.
Okay.
Hey, AmeriCorps, how's that?
AmeriCorps, yeah.
So you guys just walked in, and you're
We
from
did.
AmeriCorps, and AmeriCorps is like that part of the military that nobody knows about. You guys just got done bombing someplace, right?
That's one way to
Right? That's
talk about
it.
Yes, that's exactly what we were doing.
That's cool. So where did you bomb today?
No.
Just smiles
So-
and happiness.
You're not
All
allowed to
the
tell
schools.
us.
No, it's
I understand. We're former Air Force. We get it. You can't really talk about where you bombed today. So, so was it some ultra high-end target that we were unaware of? Is that the? She's okay. So why don't we introduce everybody? Because she's like, okay, I've just gone too far. I am done. Why don't we?
It's probably exactly what she's thinking. You're really good at reading minds. Go ahead.
And your name?
You're the wrong profession. I am Juliana.
I'm in the wrong.
Nice to meet you.
What? Because you can read minds.
No, I'm sorry. It's just the whole. Anyways, Juliana,
I'm Allison.
Allison,
Annie.
Annie, and you guys are actually here, and you're from America.
We are actually here.
Yeah, you're actually here, which is great.
We're not ghosts.
Well, because we do have a green screen.
Okay.
Right, so technically you didn't have to be here.
Oh.
It's over there. It's over there.
We're not on a green screen.
Right, but the people watching TV wouldn't have an idea that you weren't over
Okay.
there. That's kind of the whole point of the
Sure.
green screen.
Sure.
So what is AmeriCorps? What is it?
Elevator speech time.
Elevator
Okay.
speech time.
learned how to do
wanna
this.
So,
Yes.
so have you heard of the Peace Corps?
I've heard of the Peace Corps.
Perfect. AmeriCorps is like a domestic Peace Corps.
So
Essentially.
you actually serve for a period of time,
Yeah,
and what's
49 weeks.
45 weeks?
49. So almost a year. Yeah. So Rochester AmeriCorps is in the city school district. So we're all placed in schools.
In our city schools, trying to help out.
Very good. Now, are you from Rochester?
No.
None of us are.
And
Trying to make sure.
is that part of the plan of AmeriCorps is to take you from your
Nah,
home
there's a lot of people from Rochester.
It kind of
Oh, okay.
depends
A lot
on
of
times-
yourself.
A lot of times a lot of the people who are from Rochester who are doing it want to serve their own community that they
Okay.
grew up in. But I know for me, I'm from Idaho.
Okay.
So I came because I wanted a huge change because
I was gonna say culture shock.
I lived in the same place for about 17 years, so in the same state-ish for 17 years, so.
And how about you?
I'm from Albany.
Oh, okay, so it's not so different. I mean, not so far over.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
Not as far as these guys.
I'm from Seattle.
You're from Seattle. Okay, so that's clear.
Yeah.
So it's actually very interesting because I mean, you still get the city feel, but that's like thriving city, and
Sure.
here we are, poverty city.
Yeah.
And this is like.
That's exactly. I mean, that's how I got off
That's
the
how
plane.
she
I
acts
was like,
almost every day.
I'm in
Every day she
my
wakes up.
box has
It's
exploded. I'm not in a box anymore. So.
And for you, like Albany is, in a lot better shape than Rochester, but you get upstate.
Is it?
I think so. Financially, we work.
Financially, okay.
Yeah, well, because we work in economic development, that's actually what all of this is for, is economic development.
Oh,
So,
okay.
it's definitely a little bit better.
I feel like Albany's been able to continue because it's the capital, but besides that, it really has not too much going for it.
Yeah, a lot of money ends up where politicians are. I don't quite get that, but we won't go there. So what brought you? So what was the catalyst for you to say, I'm going to go to AmeriCorps? I mean, because there's those people out there who don't want to help other people.
Our off-screen cameraman.
So tell me a little bit. What brought you to AmeriCorps?
I did Alpha Phi Omega in college, and that was a lot of community service, so I thought, let's do this for an entire year. Woohoo!
I'm really thrilled about it. I don't want to be here. Why am I here? I want to go back to Albany. Okay. It was from Seattle. You're like,
Yeah.
I want to go to Rochester. Not really, but what?
No, I actually probably couldn't have put Rochester on a map before this year. I know it was in New York, but I really wanted to do Peace Corps, but then thought, you know what, the U.S. needs a lot of help too, so why wouldn't I start out here? So yeah, I applied to a bunch of programs, and this one looked like a good fit, and that's all she wrote.
And from Idaho, same.
So I was similar. I really wanted to do the Peace Corps, and my brother was actually involved in AmeriCorps in Idaho, and so I was inclined to also do that, and thought that And I wanted to give back to people, especially because I feel like I've been really fortunate, so I want to give back to people.
Can you imagine somebody who has a heart that feels that they're so fortunate they want to give back to others? So, which is so. A couple questions, because let's just talk about the structure of AmeriCorps. I was half joking that it's like the military, but there is an actual structure to what you guys do. Do you go through training? Do you get to choose the job? I mean, how does that work?
It really depends on your program. So ours is a state and national program.
Okay.
So I mean, basically means it's direct service. So we go into the schools and help. So we had a 2-week training. And then AmeriCorps has a bunch of different programs. So like NCCC is more like that military type style, I guess, because they go through really robust training, they wear uniform and that kind of thing.
Okay.
And then VISTA is just like solitary AmeriCorps members placed individually. So we're like a big group of like 45 of us, and we went through 2-week training, and now we're kind of separated into the schools.
Okay.
And we had an interview fair during the 2-week training, so we went in and we met with the different supervisors that represented the different schools, as well as, because we're also doing Upward Bound, which they're also going into the schools, but they're more focused on going towards college. So we talked to all the different people.
So now, are you in these city schools, any suburb? You're all in the same school?
No.
Okay.
We're all in different.
All right. So, share your thoughts. What do you think? Be honest.
I feel like there's a big struggle that's going on, and that it's difficult to be able to really get down to the bottom of it, because it's a foundational issue that needs a. That's why it's so important that we're actually getting into the schools, because since like we can be in and see some of the things in the school where we can like make connections with the students that are having a hard time and don't feel connected to a lot of people from like their outside lives of school.
What do you? How does it feel? I mean, because I definitely have experience in some of the stuff in the city and some of the schools. Are there days that you just look at the kids and start to struggle? Like, can we do more? How can we help? And when you say it's a foundational problem, it truly is. It is like you want to help, but just being there is not enough. So what do you think? How are you handling this? I mean, very, very different for each one of you. How are you handling this? Emotionally, what are your thoughts?
We're a weekend.
What's that?
We're a weekend.
Okay.
I haven't really started yet because I'm doing Upward Bound, but I got to meet like a few of the students, and I think Upward Bound's a good program. It just gives them the opportunity. Like, we pay for their SATs and everything, and we take them to college visits. So I have a bit of a different experience than them.
Kids and you know, so what age? I guess I should have asked that before there was an assumption.
I'm working with like juniors and seniors.
Okay. All right.
I'm 7-12.
Okay.
I'm K through 6.
Oh wow.
We run the whole spectrum.
We hit all the grades.
And that's gonna and there's gonna be heartbreaking situations at that age, you know, and then that is a part of what we're starting to see in our city, right? I mean, at the 12th grade level, unfortunately, there's just not even near as many that began. But yeah, there's some heartbreaking situations that you're gonna start seeing instantly. The first week of school, the first day, 25% of our kids missed school. You know, and you think about that, I'd imagine when you were going to school, it was like, what do you mean? That the first day is the day we all went. Right? So it's a little bit there. So AmeriCorps, what about after AmeriCorps? What are you thinking about for afterwards?
Everyone's favorite question.
I'll go. I actually did AmeriCorps a year ago, or 2 years ago.
Okay.
So I already experienced the after part, and so I ended up going back in, and it's becoming more clear to me that I love working with at-risk youth, and probably will end up doing some kind of nonprofit work with that, or become a youth counselor, because I just tend towards that age group.
Beautiful. No thoughts yet?
I'm working on applying to Peace Corps in graduate school right now.
Okay.
Yeah, probably graduate school.
right.
I can't silence that voice in my head. Stop me from helping other people.
So what do you want? What do you want out of graduate school?
I'm thinking about my MPA and then
Okay.
going into nonprofit.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, actually, part of our business as a whole, we are an economic development agency, but our goal is to actually end child sexual slavery. So when you start talking about the actual, the at-risk, I mean, to me, that speaks to the depravity of mankind, even that exists.
Yeah.
And that, so when we get in and we start looking at some of the things that are going on, you're absolutely right. There are foundational issues that are wrong in our society right now, and we really need to start figuring out how to help change hearts and minds, right? And it's we can only do so much. And you're going to start experiencing the actual system itself prohibits us from caring in the way we probably really should in many instances. So if you could say anything to Bob, who is never watching over in Germany, what would you really want? So here's a question, and I'm going to make this really difficult. I'm going to put you guys all on the spot.
Okay.
One of the questions that for people that we do some stuff during the week, different classes and whatnot, that I like to ask, I said, if you had the opportunity, if for one moment you could climb the highest mountain in the world and you could scream at the top of your lungs and everybody in the world would hear it, and you had one sentence, maybe two, a phrase or a couple words, what is it you want people to know?
Wow. That's hard. Do we have to scream it while we...
If you'd like, you're welcome to scream it.
Are you gonna scream it? 'Cause
No, I'm not.
I'd like
I'm
a
not
word
gonna
It is
say.
difficult. If you can't come up with it, that's fine. That's no problem. And you kind of, so I'll leave it there. What is it you'd like people to know? Why do you help? Why do you care? I mean, because here's what, you do get paid for AmeriCorps, but you don't get paid really well.
It doesn't. It technically doesn't really count as a salary.
Okay. I wasn't.
It's enough to live on.
It's enough to live. It's
yeah.
a stipend, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I was saying. I wasn't
Yeah.
sure that,
Yeah.
but right. And I guess I'd want people to know that this is like
Yeah.
enough to
You
get
don't have to rely on
by
your
barely.
savings.
Right. Yeah, exactly. You're not putting away your 401k plan right now,
Yep.
right, as far as that goes. So, what would you say to other people as to, like, how can you start? What would you say to help start changing those hearts to be more like yours? Because we need more people like you who are willing to serve.
I think I would say, I don't know if this sounds okay, but I think it's okay to question the system and the society that we live in. You don't have to accept it as fact.
Let's just leave it there. She's got it 100%. Yeah, that's exactly. Think for yourself and actually recognize we can change the system. Other thoughts?
I think for yourself, but also listen to others. I think that's where a lot of people get trapped, is not just straight up not listening. And I think if you just read a book, if you're not going to listen to X person who you hate their opinion, then read a book about an opinion that you haven't had before. Because I think a lot of people just get caught up in their own ideas and like, this is the way it is, I'm not going to think about history, I'm not going to think about anything else. And I think that's the number one problem of a lot of people, especially in our generation.
I think I've heard it said that the ability to hold an opposing idea in your mind is it's really the definition of genius, right? Whereas in most people's life right now, it is how can I better defend my own opinion, right? And to your point, we can't do that. We can't sit here and argue on a word. Otherwise, we're not going to fix any of these things. We actually do have to start listening, and we have to listen for the heart of what people are saying, because everybody does express differently.
So I have two sentences.
Okay, all
I
right,
wrote
beautiful.
down.
All right.
One I would have to say was from, I believe the quote is from the Dalai Lama. It's, "My religion is loving kindness," and when I'm actually at the school, I feel like I have to be disciplining, and I have to like set all these boundaries, which like boundaries are really good, but I also like one thing in the back of my head is like kindness like goes a long way, like even just saying good job buddy, like thumbs up, give them a fist bump. I think that's really important. And then let's see if I can remember my second thought, which is, I can't remember.
So that one is, again, so it is easily said, love your neighbor, right? And we all went back to second grade or probably kindergarten. If you want to others, you'd have them do it for you, right? But the key one there is do.
Yeah.
Actually get out there and do something. And I get up on my soapbox and I'll sit there and go, you know what? I think you don't have the right to complain anymore if all you're going to do is complain. If you're not going to get out there and do something and expose yourself to new ideas and different opinions, and you're not actually going to put the effort into caring, just shut up, because you're part of the problem. Right? It's kind of that piece. Well, thank you, ladies, for joining us tonight. It wasn't so bad, was it? I tried to keep it reasonable. Yeah, a little bit nervous at the beginning. So, anything else you'd like to say? Going once?
Hi, Mom.
Hi, Mom.
Hey, Bishop. Oh, I do want to say one thing.
Okay.
One thing that I totally think that many people lack in the world is bravery, like just being brave. And so it's just taking one step at a time. That's how we move mountains.
All right, and one of the most courageous steps is to actually oppose your own opinion. Right, and take those steps to say, I don't want to do this, but we know it has to be done.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, ladies. I appreciate you coming on
Yeah,
tonight.
thanks.
All right, thanks. And we're going to just go over to, in just a second, he's going to
You waiting like a bride and babe. Dressed in a color deep of wine. Your beauty chill my skin. When I drove that trailer into town. Down on Bill, you sang your history to me. Took my breath like a southern winter storm. I knew he had a past. The story cast a shadow on your life. You hurt like that. Show me a soul, say he might as well. Oh, my long, long, long Memphis Belle. And now you have to hustle just to pay them bills. And play your game by the neon light. At the four-way meal, ooh, the patrons seem to feel your heart's still good. So call me through the smoking jam. Let me stand where all your lovers share the mic. Like a silent drumming. Let your blues begin to move me like it should. Hurt like hell. Show me a soul, say might as well. Oh, my long, long lost. Chuck Campbell, give it up for him. Come on, Derek, come on.
All right, well, we're back, and we're here with David. David, and I didn't catch your last name.
Collagen.
Collagen? All right.
Collagen.
Collagen.
Ton.
Okay,
Collagen.
okay. All right, let's go David. Keep it easy. All right, so David, like a few other people that are walking in tonight, you actually are of the same heart and in many ways the same mind of what it is we're doing here. And I guess I would just like to talk about your project a little bit. So why don't you just kind of start explaining to the world that be, and if you will, we'll just remember to talk to camera one over here because Bob is watching and he likes to make sure that he can hear you too.
Yeah. So right now I'm renovating a mixed-use commercial residential property. It was abandoned. They're having issues with drug sales and loitering and crime in the area. It is meant to bring up the area through creating a community gathering location. There will be a laundromat, which is not existent within about 3/4 of a mile, and a southern barbecue and blues music venue where people in the community can have easy access to expressing themselves, and basically a place for quote-unquote wholesome nighttime entertainment instead of other activities that may or may not be occurring.
That are happening in that are happening in the neighborhood. So, are you going to be? Are you running the laundromat? Are you running the restaurant? Or how's that happening?
I will be running the laundromat. I'll be employing local people who basically can walk to work, very convenient for them. And I will be more of a silent partner in the restaurant.
Okay. And you have, but it's more than you just renovating a building, and it's more than you just opening a laundromat. You actually have intent behind all of this.
Anytime that I invest anywhere, my mantra is that yes, it will benefit me, but it has to benefit and bring up the community in which I am investing. It's immoral to invest in something that's going to be detrimental to the people who live there.
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't know that. I don't know that a lot of people would actually say those words that you just said, but I think it's 100% true. That it is immoral to invest in something that would be detrimental to the community that you're investing into. That is just a heart that you don't hear that often. So can I ask, what is your background? What brought you to this stage?
I have a background in civil engineering, and I actually have, I was in the Peace Corps, so I have some experience with community development, engaging the community and finding out, what are your issues in the community? How can we address those? What resources are available in the community that can help make this happen?
And and so, first off, you are still a capitalist in that you're planning to make money. And in doing so, you're actually planning to help other people have jobs and actually be entrepreneurs.
Yeah, I would say that's an accurate statement.
Right. And that's one of the things that we talk about, because that's all we do here. Our whole world is economic development. We have a social platform, a social technology that's designed to help communities grow. And one of the things that we hear time and time again is that the capitalistic approach, and we need social programs, which we do. But I say that because the only real way that we are going to lift our neighborhoods up is by investing, as you said, and investing morally to that side. So it's amazing. Can you point to something where, how did your heart align with the idea that you should invest for the sake of the good of others? Because we don't hear that all the time.
I would say I was very fortunate to have a lot of opportunities provided to me, and it was instilled in me to remain humble and not see yourself as better than others who may not be as fortunate. And I am in a position where I have the ability to share those resources and take advantage of those opportunities that others really, it's out of reach for them.
That is fantastic. And we certainly need many more people who are thinking and acting as you're acting. Now, you were starting to share that you've got some other plans, down the road, not fully formed, if you will. Mm-hmm. But so after you have this building, which, do you mind saying where that was again?
It's on the corner of Arnett and Rugby.
Okay, Arnett and Rugby, 19th Ward,
yes.
Right? That's the 19th Ward area over there. Arnett and Rugby, and the construction, the renovation, that's all beginning now?
It's underway. Pretty soon they're going to start putting in the new mechanical systems, the building's secured, about a 85% structural frame replacement, all new windows, doors, whole new roof.
It's a big project.
It is a big project.
It's a very. How long have you been planning this? Like, when can you recall when the first, I think I want to do this, to getting to this stage? And there's a reason I ask this, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, it was probably about a year and a half ago when I really wanted to get into the development side of things, and I I saw this property. It was something that had been sitting there for a long time, and it just seemed like a really interesting opportunity.
And I really hope that people understand that. A year and a half from idea to beginning right? I mean, because you're literally just now beginning, per se. I mean, you began a year and a half ago, but you're beginning today. Yeah, you're at the real beginning of this thing, and that's one thing I really hope that people can begin to grasp onto. And as we work in the city, and we see these some younger kids trying to come up and trying to do good and understand, they've got this impression that it happens tomorrow. You know, I've got an idea. It happens tomorrow. No. It happens next year. It happens 2 years down the road. Right. But you were also talking about, through this project, teaching and mentoring.
So after I get this project up and running, I'm looking into a program that the ideas are still under development, but taking youth who have some basic training, either they've gone through OACs and BOCES, and employing them with the help of local contractors who maybe they're out of work right now, they're living in the community and they need a job. Having them mentor those kids with the basic skills, bring them up, teach them some work ethic, some job training skills, how to take care of a house, and after they meet certain goals, I haven't figured out if it's a time or certain metrics, but then they have the opportunity to buy from the organization a house at an investor price, which may be half of its value. So now somebody that you've determined that is going to be a benefit to the community is in a house that was previously vacant, most likely being vandalized, having vagrants who are in the neighborhood possibly causing some issues. There have been some issues in a couple of areas in the 19th Ward with shooting, both Boys and Girls Club and other sporadic locations. So now you have somebody who's an asset to the community. You know they're going to take care of the house, who previously didn't have an opportunity, and now they have access to capital, skills that will help them develop and will make the neighborhood a better place.
So just to kind of reiterate, because we were talking off camera, is that simply said is that we're going to train these kids. We're people who already know what they're doing are going to train these kids, and that we're putting people to work who are previously out of work. They're going to be training the kids, and as these kids are trained, we're actually positioning them to purchase the houses that are otherwise being purchased largely by people out of state who have little interest in actually upgrading our neighborhoods. And what they're really doing is trying to figure out how to get those rental prices out of them. And we're saying, hey, we're going to put those back in the hands of the neighbors who are working to improve their neighborhood. And we're going to help them have an asset that they're going to cherish and care for, and we're rebuilding the community from the ground up.
Exactly. You are basically setting them up for success instead of a predatory approach where, oh yeah, you can get this house. Yeah, it's a little shaky. It's probably not going to work out, but I'll give you that love.
And we're not asking them to be prepared to get the money from the bank, although the banks and the credit unions are ready to help. But we're asking them, go through a program, show us that you can be reliable, show us that you can learn self-discipline, show us that you can be accountable. We'll teach you a trade all the way through here. We'll help you to earn money to care for yourself. You're going to earn equity while you do this, and then we're going to help you purchase a house that begins you on the path toward your own prosperity.
That is a very succinct and well-worded description.
I just hope, and I hope you don't mind, I definitely want to keep in touch with you after the show and whatnot, because we need far more people with your heart doing the work that you're doing in the community. They are out there now. It is happening. But if we could actually get this common message out, that there are men like you working in the city for the good of the city. You're going to provide us all with a cool place to go hang out. hear some great music. I mean, we've got some great blues music out of Buffalo right now. We've got some great blues music out of Rochester. We've got this incredible music scene in Rochester. You're going to provide us a place to go and hear our local expression. And while we're enjoying that, we're actually helping the community grow. And that's what people need to, I hope that they hear that. So you were Peace Corps. That's amazing. And how long were you in the Peace Corps?
It was a little over 2 years.
What was that like for you? Where were you?
I was in South Africa, the Republic of South Africa. I was there during the World Cup. It was very interesting. It was the first time I was ever a true minority.
Okay.
And it was very turbulent for me because there's still a lot of conflict and divisiveness amongst the white and black South Africans. So I had people that embraced what I was doing and were supportive, and then I had black South Africans who only saw me as money and an opportunity. And I had white South Africans who were basically saying, why are you helping them?
Interesting. And we actually have that in our own community. We have, maybe not that exact, but we actually, we run across that same thing. Like, you're the money? No. Why are you helping? Because we should help. It's the right thing. Mankind thrives when we help one another. And, that's impressive. I want to thank you for joining us tonight, but I'd like any closing thoughts that you would, if there was something that you could just say to people that you would just hope would resonate with them over a period of time, what would that be?
If you're in a position to help other people out, then you should. You haven't made it on your own. You've made it on the back of all of these other people that have supported you. So as somebody who has made it, it is your ethical and moral responsibility to help bring them up and make sure that they're living a certain base level quality of life.
That's beautiful. Beautiful. Well, I thank you for joining us tonight. Was it painless? Were you okay?
I am great. This is always good to share ideas and hear other people's opinions. It helps us grow.
It does. And on Thursday nights, we actually have weekly shows. And right now we're starting to do roundtable discussions where we're getting together and have much more robust discussions around exactly what we're talking about, where we try to take maybe one topic in a given night and discuss it a little bit more. So, tonight's a little bit more fun night, but you walked in, I was like, perfect. And Tim's like, perfect messaging. Maybe we can have you back another time for a game.
Absolutely.
All right, David, thanks again. I appreciate your time. It was nice meeting you.
what you're doing to me. Vultures flying high all around me. Life is always at my door. I'm getting by. I'm living paycheck to paycheck. But I'm afraid there just isn't anymore. I can tell when you're lying. Oh, that's so obvious to me. It's plain as day. Eyes on the wind, on the TV. I don't know why or who to believe. Confusion. It's not a stop. Chocolate tape. Something better's what I need. Come on, break these chains. Find me. I yearn to set my spirit free. My spirit free. A brighter future is what I need. I need it now. And that alone might be enough. A ray of hope shining down on me, embraced in the arms of brotherly love. Vultures flying high all around me, around me. Wolf is always at my door, at my door. I'm getting by. I'm living paycheck to paycheck. But I'm afraid there just isn't anymore. I can see that you're lying. It's in your eyes. I'm not the fool me to be. I'm not your fool. Every day it's getting clearer, clearer. Oh yeah, just what it is you've been doing to me.
Or you want to?
No, just go.
We can't even see it. So we're blocking it. That's worked with here. Blocking the rehearsal song. The words.
I think it's actually great. Now it says this worked in, and nobody really knows what it is. It's kind of a puzzle. It's no longer a puzzle.
I still can't see it because of the
All right, you guys
iPad.
introduce yourself and take it away.
Evening, everyone. My name is Jeff Slutsky. That's my real last name.
My name is Michael Stetz. I'm just kind of a walking calendar the way you spell my last name.
Backwards or forwards, it's Stetz.
I don't know where I'm going.
So we're going to play a few tunes for you tonight. And we'll start off with a Stevie Winwood Blind Faith song from way back in the late 60s. Can't Find My Way Home.
Start off a little bit of noodling in D, though.
Hence the name.
All right, and we're just finishing up Noodling D. Well, we didn't get our Catwoman back, but I do think that would have been quite interesting, and I guess I'm stalling in hopes that Catwoman comes back. So we didn't get any people with our the costumes. If you weren't out here tonight, the people are at the Hungerford. We're out because it's the haunted Hungerford. But hey, thanks for tuning in to Soapbox. I mean, tonight was it was a cool night. It was another good night. It was another good night out here. We're constantly finding the people who doing some incredible things in the neighborhood. Hey, I think that's what I'm walking away from tonight. I mean, it was fun. We had some good times. Some tried to have some laughs in there. But for me, what I really saw again is how many people are out there doing something, who are trying to do something. And if there's anything I could ask of our audience is please just be encouraging. Be encouraging, because there are so many people right now out there struggling to try to do good. And we often feel like we're alone. We often feel like we're out there doing this, and what happens is, we're not, and we recognize that. When we get a night like tonight and we find that there's these young women who come from Seattle and Idaho and Albany, and they come to Rochester, New York, and they're working in our school systems because they feel the need to heat or to help. And then a gentleman like David there, who's actually investing his own money, his own time to renovate an area of the neighborhood, create businesses so that he can turn that over to others and help them to become owners in their own community. And then we had the other lady, Tina, right? And Tina, I think it was Tina that came on. And you just, if you could be here with her, her eyes just melted when she talked about being able to just simply provide motor services to the children in our neighborhood and how in our community, and how that what she got to do was to keep infants in touch with parents. And you know, these are simple things, and I understand that we all are trying to live our lives, and we just feel like we can't take on something else. But I have to tell you, it's when you get out and you get beyond your own comfort zone, it's when you start connecting with other people, that is where life really begins. It's tiring, don't get me wrong. It's stressful, and sometimes we really wonder how we're going to make it another day. But what happens is we run into wonderful people. So if you didn't make it out this Friday, come out next First Friday. You got another month to prepare for it, and join us out on Soapbox. And with that, good night from Udicci Studio 252.